We've made it to the last show of the spring 2021 semester. For some of us graduating, it can be a scary time. On today's show, we speak with a UNLV professor and his new book about embracing discomfort.
And although the future is scary, we have things to look forward to, and we also hear from the newly elected CSUN member about upcoming plans for next semester.
Welcome to Studio G. I'm Sydney Arpano.
And I'm Ariel Mack, and thank you for joining us this very last time.
Can you believe it's our last show of the semester?
I'm so sad.
I know. I feel like we finally got into the groove of things. We know what to expect, and now it's over.
Yeah, I had such a wonderful time this semester. We definitely all made friends, and I feel like we've produced a lot of good shows.
I know. Good job, everyone.
Hi y'all, it's Lewis and I'm here with some fun updates with what's going on in Vegas, America, and internationally. First off, the Asian Community Development Council is hosting its 2021 graduation ceremony, highlighting the achievements of Asian and Pacific Islander students in Nevada. The event will be virtual this year and will be hosted on May 22nd. You can find more information about this on the Asian Community Development Council's website at acdcnv.org. Secondly, there was mysterious lights over the Las Vegas Valley. They have been identified as part of SpaceX's satellite train. On this Saturday, they were launched from Florida, and they are apparently to improve our internet speed. I know I can definitely use some of that because the Wi-Fi in this building sucks. And the satellites are still in low orbit and can still be seen in parts of Washington and Idaho. Lastly, a farmer in Belgium has caused a stir by accidentally changing the borders between France and Belgium. A history enthusiast was walking in the forest when he noticed the stones marking the boundaries between the two countries had moved 7.5 feet. The Belgian farmer apparently was annoyed that the stones kept getting in the way of his tractor and decided to move it into French territory, which instead of causing international uproar, this incident was met with smiles from both sides. Maybe we can learn something from France and Belgium.
Thanks, Lewis. Sometimes embracing discomfort can be tough for some. This person took the steps to overcome it. We have Studio G exclusive look on UNLV professor Michael Easter, forthcoming book.
What is Comfort Crisis about?
So it's about how, as the world over time has gotten a lot more comfortable in a variety of ways. So if you think about like how people lived 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, right? Like life was a lot harder. Things were a lot more challenging. Everything took effort. So as the world has gotten more comfortable, we've paid for it with our health and happiness in a lot of ways. We've just removed effort and challenge from our life in a lot of ways over time and paid for it with our health. So it's about that. It's about what have we lost? And then how can we reinsert discomfort back into our life in a way that can improve our health?
Do you talk about that in the book, or like the quarantine type of mindset now of just work from home, stay home, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it was interesting because the book was due in May of 2020. So I had basically finished the whole thing. And then all of a sudden this pandemic hits and it's like, whoa, this is like putting these themes that we're talking about on steroids here. So we kind of had to pivot and write in what the quarantine means in a lot of ways. And to answer your question, yes, I think we're going to be putting in even less effort and have less social connection and less just going out into nature, less of a lot of the themes that I talk about in my book, because work and life are really going to shift after this. I think the quarantine has hurt mental health a lot because it's led to a lot of social isolation. And so you start to see mental health go really south in the generations that were born after 1990. And there's essentially two reasons for that. One is that's when helicopter parenting started. So all of a sudden, kids didn't have any challenges. Like you couldn't go outside, you couldn't go do kind of crazy things with your friends, and you were kind of kept in this bubble. Well, scientists know that people actually thrive on challenge, like having to face challenges in your life actually improves sort of like your armor against future challenges. So this is why something like not getting enough likes on Instagram might cause someone to really feel like down about it. And then number two, we just know that too much screen time is associated with poor mental health. It's not great for your brain to spend as much time as we do on digital media. We spend like 11 hours a day.
Is it really 11 hours?
Yeah, on average. And that's just the average across the country. But I mean, I've taken polls in some of my classes, that like my big one. And I have in my 107 class, I have students look at their phones and tell me how much screen time average they have. And I've had people just on their phones spend 8 hours a day. In my book, I argue that one of the discomforts that we need back in our lives is boredom, because we're just never bored anymore. Boredom is this evolutionary discomfort that essentially tells us to go do something productive.
So this was a collaboration with, did you talk with other experts and other researchers? Who did you talk to and what are their?
Yeah. So the through narrative of the book, I went up to Alaska in the backcountry, and I was up there for more than a month. And so as I tell that story of being up in Alaska, because it's like, I mean, it's kind of like our past environments, right? Like everything I did up there to like survive took effort. And so as I face specific discomforts while I'm up in Alaska in the story, then I will talk about other on the ground reporting that I did on that topic. So I went to Iceland. I went to Boston to meet with researchers at Harvard. I went to a lot of different places and talked to a lot of different experts on the different topics I talk about.
Have you always had this idea? I know you said you still work for Men's Health. Like, has it been something that kind of sat on your mind for a while, or was it like something happened and you were like, I got to dig into this more?
Yeah, I think it was that working in health magazines and writing about health early on in my career, I realized that anything that improves our health usually comes with some form of discomfort. So if you think about, like, if I want to improve my fitness, exercise is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to lose weight, I'm going to have to go through hunger. That's uncomfortable. I met this character whose name is Donnie Vincent, and he's this backcountry bow hunter and filmmaker. And we end up going up to the Arctic together, like I told you about, in Alaska. And I sort of realized that the discomforts that I faced up there were all these different discomforts I'd never faced in life. And we just don't live in those environments anymore. So I wanted to know, well, how has that changed us? And that sort of started the question of like, oh, the uniting thing here is this idea that like we never face discomfort anymore. We've become too comfortable. And that's like the one thing that can link a lot of our health problems together.
What advice could you give to students that are graduating about like stepping into that discomfort?
We're programmed to think we're not capable of a lot, but actually be a lot more capable. When you're young, you may not feel like going out into the workforce. You may not feel like you know everything. But like, just wade out into those waters. Like, what's the worst that can happen? We live in a world now where it's like, you're not going to die. Like, worst that can happen is like you mess up a work project. Your boss kind of goes, hey, you messed that one up. And you go, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Yeah. But like, you learn, so like, don't be afraid of failing.
Let's talk about actually like where people can get their hands on this book. So you said Tuesday it comes out. How do people buy it? Where can they buy it?
You can get it anywhere. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that kind of wherever. I know that the Writer's Block has it too. Mm-hmm. That's a good place to go. Great local bookstore. So wherever.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Thanks for talking with us.
Congratulations to Michael publishing his new book and way to represent UNLV. Be sure to check out The Comfort Crisis, coming out May 11th. To learn more about Michael and his previous writing, visit his website at eastermichael.com.
Coming up, we take a look into this weekend's weather as well as get into knowing another newly elected CSUN member.
Don't go anywhere. Studio G will be right back.
As we come out of this pandemic, businesses need help. At the Vegas Chamber, we've partnered with Workforce Connections to make this happen.
These business hubs can help you find qualified candidates, build an effective hiring process, explore training options, and connect you to funding resources.
These resources are real and available to all businesses in Las Vegas. Connect online or visit your local Employee NV Business Hub today.
This vaccine was developed in record time, but it was only possible due to the 15 years or so of prior research on other coronaviruses, including the SARS coronavirus 1. So they built up on 15 years of research and then put the best people all over the world in developing these vaccines and had literally every single possible assistance from the government. So it's not hasty and it's safe.
Good morning, UNLV. We're back to Studio G. It's time for the final weather forecast of the semester. It's been a long one, but let's go right into it. All right. So today we're at 91 degrees at the high, 97 is the high. We're at 91 right now, 66 is the low. Wind is about 6 miles per hour, so it's pretty hot out there, pretty clear. Tonight we're probably going to have a little bit of drop in temperature, but it's still going to be nice and warm outside. Not too bad, 88, clear skies, low 77s. The wind's going to be consistent throughout, so it's going to be a pretty good day if you want to stay out the sun as much as you can. So if we're looking into the valley, temps have gone up. Centennial's at 89, Summerlin's at 87, Las Vegas at a cool 90. We go over here. Boulder City's a little colder than the rest of the valley, but Green Valley at 91, North Las Vegas and Nellis at 90. So it's low 90s across the valley here. And if we look, where am I at? There. If we look across the week, we're looking at 80s, high 80s, low 90s, pretty sunny all the way across, so it's obvious that summer's coming. Not too much cloud cover as we expected. You're going to go into that blaze called the Las Vegas city. But for the most part, summer's coming. It's getting a little warmer outside. It's going to be beautiful all weekend, so you can go outside, you can have a little fun, you can have a little walk with your sensitive of skin, put some sunscreen on, and try and stay out of the sun as much as possible, avoid those UV rays. But that's all we have for weather. Now let's take it to Lewis with today's interview.
Hi everyone, I have with me our newly elected Senate President, Blanca Pena. Blanca, can you say hi to everybody on the show?
Hi everyone, I'm so glad to be here.
And before we start, do you want to give a brief description of your title and what your position is?
Of course. So as Senate President, the main goal is to just make sure that the Senate is running efficiently. We're passing meaningful legislation, doing things for the students. I also work as the main bridge between the legislative and executive branch of CSUN and as well as the judicial branch. So I'm kind of just that one person that connects the Senate to the rest of CSUN. It kind of just depends on who the Senate President is, because the Senate President position is a very broad position. You can take it kind of wherever you want to go. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. But for me specifically, I think something that I really want to focus on this year is being accessible to our students, making sure that they know who their representatives are, as well as speaking on issues that aren't really highlighted a lot, especially now with this platform. I tried fixing some issues as a senator. I used to be a senator for the Greenspun College. Before that, I used to be an intern, and I've kind of just been advocating for things like undocumented students, especially because they tend to run into a lot of barriers when they're trying to, go to school, get paid for things, and they just can't. So hopefully, this is barely like my second or third day, but I'm already trying to advocate for people and making sure that the Senate is just running well for the students.
That's amazing. I love how enthusiastic you are. That's the type of people we need in office. And I know you said you used to be a senator for Greenspun. What exactly do senators do?
Okay, so that's a great question. So what we do is we pass legislation. Something that I really focused on was within my committee. So I used to be on the Ways and Means Committee and on the Scholarships and Grants Committee. And I used to actually chair the Ways and Means Committee. And our main focus was to provide supplemental funding to RSOs on campus. So let's say, for example, an RSO wanted to host an event, right, like before COVID, and they needed, like, let's say $1,000 for their event. We would give them that from our budget just to, enhance everybody's experience on campus. So that was kind of like the ways and means that side of it. Scholarships and grants, we help create scholarships for our students. I know some are already out. If you go on unlv.edu/CSUN scholarships, I believe. There's scholarships for all types of people that you can apply for. And kind of what we do on our side is making sure that the applications are well. We review applicants, we approve them, and things like that. So I don't know, I guess as a senator, it's really more about just getting our hands dirty, doing the work, and making sure that students have opportunities.
I love that. And then another question I wanted to ask you is that what inspired you to run for president? Like, what made you want to like even move higher up? Like, and you're only a sophomore, right?
Yeah, this is only my second year. I guess it was just my want for improvement. You know, I came in as an intern when I was a freshman, and there was just so much that we can do that I haven't really seen been done. So it was kind of more of like, I want to come in, make it better than how I saw it, and definitely leave it better than how I came in. So the Senate has really meant a lot to me because it's something that I've decided to put my efforts into ever since I became a UNLV student. So being able to just take the reins on it and make it better than what it was, I think that's what my main motivation is.
I love hearing that. Like, honestly, I wish I was as motivated as you when I was a sophomore, because I really regret not joining student government. But another question I want to ask is that since you're already the president of the Senate at just sophomore year, like, where do you want to go next? Like, because you're already at like pretty much the top. Like, where do you see yourself going after this?
Right now, I don't see myself going anywhere higher. I kind of just flow with the wind. If I get another opportunity, that'd be great. I am graduating in next May, so I'm kind of just saying if I just stay here, maybe even take a semester off, work on LSAT stuff or law school or something. But definitely right now is where I want to be.
That's amazing. And what is the top one thing you want to accomplish like during your reign?
That's a good question. I guess just making sure that students know what we're here for. I've met a lot of people that are like, what is CSUN? And then I have to kind of just get into it, which I don't mind because I love talking about it, but it's really sad to see us having like a $1.2 million budget for the students and not a lot of students knowing about our scholarships, our supplemental funding, our cap and gown lending program, like little things like that that can be really beneficial to someone, but it's kind of not doing anything if people don't know about it. So it's just that accessibility part of it that I really hope to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing that you're doing that, because there's so many students who didn't even vote. There's so many students who didn't even know we had an election.
Right.
So I think it's great that you're trying to communicate with students better, just so we can even like have like direct communication between the student government and the students, because at the end of the day, that's what the student government is for, is to help the students.
Yeah.
And is there anything you want to tell us about student government before we finish this interview?
Sure. If you want to join, come join us. It's a fun party. We have a lot of vacancies in the Senate, and I recommend all of you to join. We're really here just for you. I tell a lot of people this, but if you're not here for the students, then you shouldn't be here. So if that's something that you want to do, you should come join.
Okay. Thank you so much for a great interview. We'll be right back after the break.
Have family gatherings again and be able to hug a person. That's so important. You know, the contact, human contact.
And there's a whole group of us who meet at the post office around 10 o'clock, old folks, you know. And I just want to continue to do that, to be able to go out and meet with people. And I do, and I want to feel safe.
Project reminds you that hope is on the horizon. We know it's been a difficult year for everyone, and the world may still feel unstable at times. It's okay, because you are not alone. If you or someone you know is struggling, our Resilience Ambassadors are available and can help you find stability. Visit NevadaResilienceProject.com to connect with one of our Resilience Ambassadors.
Rapper J. Cole has announced that his next studio album will arrive next week. The Off-Season is out May 14th. The record serves as the North Carolina rapper's follow-up to 2018's KOD, as well as his 2019 Dreamville compilation, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. HBO has released new pictures of the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. The show will be set a few hundred years prior to the events of Game of Thrones and tells the story of how House Targaryen and the Targaryen Civil War that became known as the Dance of the Dragons. The photos feature Darcy as Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen and Smith as Prince Daemon Targaryen. Warner Brothers decided Henry Cavill will not come back as Superman. The search for a new Superman is underway. The public has expressed wanting to have Michael B. Jordan as their next Man of Steel. In a recent interview, the actor stated he'd rather watch the new Superman than be the next hero. Ariel, who do you think should be the next Superman?
I definitely think Michael B. Jordan would be a great contender. I know we also kind of talked about how Matt Bowman is also a good one. A lot of people speculate that he looks just like the old one. So now on to sports news. Las Vegas is set to host its first major soccer match next summer, and it will be the championship game of one of the biggest tournaments in the world. Studio G reporter Devin Verissimo has more.
Attention soccer fans, major news has been released and Allegiant Stadium will be the host site of the 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup Final.
The home of the Raiders and Rebels has been selected to host the 2021 competition's title game, marking the first time the city has ever even hosted a Gold Cup match. The indoor stadium will be perfect for hosting the event despite the summer heat outside. CONCACAF President Victor Montagliani said in a statement, "At CONCACAF, we are very excited about this summer's Gold Cup, and we know that Las Vegas and Allegiant Stadium will provide a great host city and venue for the final." 2021 is CONCACAF's 60th anniversary, making this edition extra special for the players and fans. The federations and the teams are looking forward to this tournament with great anticipation, and it is fitting that the regional champion will be crowned in such an outstanding venue and famous city.
Since its beginning in 1991, the current defending champions, Mexico, have won 8 times, the U.S. has won 6 times, and Canada has won once, which means that Las Vegas will be quite the madhouse when the final happens here on August 1st. For UNLV-TV, I'm Devin Verissimo.
The tournament will start on July 2nd in Florida and will feature 16 national teams, including Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Qatar. The whole tournament should be very exciting, and the final should bring a boost to the Vegas economy. Be sure to contact CONCACAF.com for more information.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Jerron Turner. We'll start our sports news with the NFL's most interesting standoff. Reigning NFL MVP and future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers has stayed firm in his decision to not return to the Green Bay Packers. He announced this last Thursday, hours before the NFL draft. More information has revealed a dispute with Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst after he left out Rodgers in some player-making decisions. The Packers organization has said they will not trade Rodgers, and as of today, the future is unclear for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Moving on to professional hockey, with 4 games left in the regular season, the Las Vegas Golden Knights took another win home last night with an overtime goal by Alex Pietrangelo to take down the Minnesota Wild. The win improves the Golden Knights to 37-13-2 and retains their hold on the NHL West Division. In other NHL news story, the New York Rangers were fined $250,000 today for their public comments on May 4th that criticized the NHL's player safety department after a cheap hit by Washington Capitals winger Tom Wilson turned a respectable hockey game into a back alley brawl. While the Rangers were forced to pay $250,000 to the league for their comments, Tom Wilson was only fined $5,000 for his actions on Tuesday. The fine has triggered outrage throughout the hockey community, and many saying it is proof the NHL is lax in their responsibility to player safety. That's all I have for sports. Let's send it back to the desk.
After this break, we take a look into graduation as we say goodbye to this spring seniors.
Studio G will be right back.
How am I going to pay my bills? When is this going to be over? Another massive financial. What if I can't? I've never been so stressed.
Are you feeling anxious or overwhelmed? In these challenging times, it's important to remember you're not alone, and support is available. Take care of your mental health. Reach out to friends, family, or neighbors for connection. And if you need help or someone to talk to, we're here for you. Crisis Support Services of Nevada. When life gets overwhelming, we are here to listen.
My husband is having trouble changing the channel on the remote.
I tried making my famous chicken recipe, but confused the steps.
My dad is trailing off in the middle of his sentences.
Graduation is quickly approaching. Cap and gown companies, as well as the UNLV bookstore, have been struggling to meet demands of soon-to-be grads. Studio G reporter Triana Gondo has more.
The commencement ceremony is right around the corner. For some people still waiting to buy a cap and gown, you might run into this problem.
The cap and gown manufacturing company, Herff Jones, has seen an influx in orders from both 2020 and 2021 graduates. Because of this, it caused a delay in shipments. The company recently sent out an email update assuring graduates that their order will be on its way just in time for the big day. Ordering online wasn't the only option to purchase these items. The UNLV bookstore also had products in stock but didn't have enough, leaving seniors like Alan Barber anticipating its arrival.
So the bookstore, not really good at guesstimating, but you can't really blame the people that work in the bookstore who are only told what they know. Because I worked in retail, so it's all good. But the main people who hold it, I felt, should have had a responsibility to announce that they've had it and keep plenty of stock. Just to know their demographic. It's college students. You turn in rentals at the last minute. I just feel they should know their market. So I did get my cap and gown, luckily. By sheer luck, there was about 3 left. If you didn't, well, you just gotta pray to the Most High, whoever that may be to you. I know I did, and lo and behold, I was here, and I was right there at the right time.
For some students not as lucky as Alan, hopefully your order will come just in time for graduation. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Triana Gondo.
Have you got your cap and gown yet?
I did, and I am super excited to graduate in about a week.
Yes. I know, I still need to order mine. I graduate after summer, so I'm not going to be walking until fall. So at least I have a little bit of time.
You got plenty of time. Don't worry, we got it all sorted out.
Exactly. We also wanted to say congratulations to our fellow graduating seniors, Dejan Sullivan, Devin Verissimo, Jerron Turner, Jasmine Nguyen,
Kator Thomas, Lewis Anderson, Triana Gondo, and Vanessa Lauren. We can't wait to see what you all accomplish in the future.
Before we officially say goodbye, we wanted to say a huge thank you to the man behind the show.
Hi Doc, we just wanted to thank you for a great semester of Studio G.
Thank you for pushing us to be the best versions of ourselves.
We adore you for a semester that we'll never forget, and thank you for being there for us.
Thank you! We would also like to say thank you to Richard and RT for helping us make this show happen. We couldn't have done it without you.
That's all we have for today. I'm Sydney Arfano.
And I'm Ariel Mack. Have a great summer, and thank you for tuning in to Studio G.